Hi, good evening. Okay, maulan na evening, rainy evening to everybody. And once again, welcome to Christine. Tonight, up close and personal with Attorney Marlon Busantog. So tonight, we have a very special guest. An amazing person and a great friend of mine. O, di ba? Grabing mag-describe. But I am so glad to have him here on the show. And, well, syempre here in Baguio and Benguet. Okay, so let's just wait a little bit. Okay, let's just give some time, a little time to our friends to tune in so that they can watch us. And please also feel free to share the link. Yeah, feel free to share the link so that you can watch us because so many people have a lot of questions and it's time for Marlon to answer them, not me. I will just be your anchor tonight and I will help you ask your questions kay Attorney Marlon. All right. Although this is going to be a little weird. I don't usually actually call him Marlon. He's a good friend of mine, so I call him Marlon. And and as you can see, I'm the kind of person who is not big on titles. So I usually call people by their first names. And well, your friends, right? So why would you call your friend by a title instead of calling them by their first names? Yes, so samahan niyo kami tonight. It's going to be a tell-all, not tell-all, but this is going to be one of our great conversations. So actually, well, the truth is, like I said a while ago, Marlon and I, we are friends. So when time permits, because we have this thing called adult friendship, this, adults tayo, so we have responsibilities. So we're like, are you free on June 3rd? Yung mga ganon. Tipong halos a month before, free on June 3rd, coffee tayo, mga ganon. But we catch up, right? So those are the kinds of friendships that we have nowadays. But yes, we do catch up, and we have all these casual conversations all the time. So this time, though, it's going to be a little bit different because again, we'll be talking about Ipanao Sambayanan, the party list, what it is, what it's for, what his advocacies are, and we'll also give you a chance to get to know him better, who he is as a person. So apparently, medyo masikreto raw yata ito. So some people have questions about him. Okay, so like I said, like yesterday during our episode with Kong Eric Yap, we allowed the audience to send in questions. Although last night people didn't really ask questions, just some comments, but not really questions. So this time, if you have questions, yes, feel free to put them in the chat box. And also, by the way, do like and follow Fridge TV. So you'll be updated, and we have a lot of amazing shows here with great hosts and syempre very surprising guests. So you can watch them. So feel free to like and follow Fridge TV as well. Okay. All right, so I think we're ready. We have about 2,500 viewers. Not 2,500, less than zero. Okay, but this night it's not about me. It's actually about Marlon, and he's here again to tell you more about himself, more about Ipanao Party List, what it is, his plans for not only for Benguet nga, but hindi ka pala congressional. This is Party List, and he will tell you all about that. Okay, so let's get started. And as I said, I would like him to introduce himself. I'm not going to do this because, well, he knows himself a lot more than I do. So welcome to the show. Magandang gabi, Marlon. So, Attorney Marlon Busantog, the first nominee of Ipanao Sambayanan Party List. Kumusta ang araw mo, kapatid?
Mayat, naimbag ngagsapat amin, mapteng ay agsapat, mapteng
Labi
ay
akin?
labit ako amin.
Yes.
Mayat ay labit ako amin. Thank you for having me tonight. It's going to be a pleasure, I'm sure.
Yes, it will
so,
be.
name is Marlon.
Yes. Okay. So I think it would be a good idea to start off with where you're from. So would you like to tell the audience where you are from, or where you went to school,
Yes.
lalo na elementary and high school days?
Yes, because I think that this is creating a lot of confusion,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's one of the most asked question during the campaign trail,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm quite surprised. I was really surprised as to why they are always asking this question.
Uh-huh.
But I hail from Bugyas Benguet,
Okay.
so I was born and I was raised. I was schooled at Bugyas Benguet. My father was from Bauco Mountain Province in Bagnin, no? Specifically Gaang, specifically Bagnin Oriente, because you have to trace, no? And in my elementary days, I went to school at Sinipsip Elementary School and in Sinipsip National High School. So
Okay.
right in the heart of Bugyas, right in the heart of the Potato Mountains, there was my school.
Alright. Okay. So yun maliit daw kasi yung mata mo. So minsan nagtataka sila kung Chinese ba si Attorney Marl? May lahing Chinese? Hindi naman. And also, I think it's because you wear glasses siguro kaya feeling nila maliit yung mata mo. But that's it. So, from Sinipsip siya. So, he went to school there. That's where he grew up in. How many siblings do you have?
You're 5. So unfortunately, one went home earlier.
Okay.
So we're
So, 4 boys, tama?
5 boys.
5 boys.
Yes.
Okay, so for now, 4.
Yes.
Right? Great. Big family. That's very cool. No girls.
Yes.
So, ako
I don't
lang-
know if
ako pa
that's
lang ang sister
fortunately.
for now.
I don't know if that's fortunately or unfortunately, but yes.
What was it like growing up with puro boys na siblings? And I think si Mami ang more hands-on sa inyo, no?
Yes, yes. Actually, ano naman, when you're growing up in the mountains, work is introduced early. Wala tayong concept kasi ng child labor eh.
Yes.
So, you play along. You actually sometimes as early as 5, 6 years old, bago ka pa pumasok sa school, punta ka muna ng garden. You remove weeds kasi I think yun yung pinagtrabaho ng bata eh. You help in the garden first. We see garden. I don't know how to properly term it in a
Ako
way
naman.
in the farmland. Yeah, you help in the farmland, a small piece of land, and then you go to school. Okay, but sometimes what really is so much bothersome growing up when you do that, especially during rainy season, is that when you wake up in the morning, it's very very cold,
Oo.
and it would be best to stay in bed to drink coffee with your lola. And because my lola will brew coffee, and then a lot of people will pass through the house going, I don't know where are they going, probably in the farm also, but there's a lot of visitors. So there's also a lot of coffee in the house. And probably when I was younger, I would drink maybe 10 cups of coffee every day. And I was just maybe 6, 7 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Parang gatas lang
Parang tubig lang. Kasi hindi kayo inom ng tubig. It's so cold. It's so cold in our place. It's called Little Alaska for...
Yes. Oh, tama. Yung place nyo, it's Sinipsip, right?
Yes.
So, he's from Sinipsip. So, yung place nila, sobrang lamig talaga. Tapos yung sinasabi niya na Little Garden, well, that's for you to judge when you go to their place para makita niyo kung maniniwala kayo dun sa Little Garden na sinasabi niya. But that's very cool. So, you started working at a really early age.
Yes.
So, what's the biggest lesson learned from that?
Oh, I think this is a quote that often traverses my mind. Sabi nila, poverty builds character. No? And learning the ways of life, of adulthood, as early as 5, 6, 7 years old. I'm not saying that my mom didn't let me play.
Yes.
I played my hearts out, no problem about that. But there are instances, in a lot of instances, where you're called upon to help, uncompensated or in whatever form. But when you're growing older, coming from that background, there's a lot of realization that you don't have to waste food. No? You learn to take care of the small resources that you have. You learn to value time you spend with your family, with your brothers, with your friends, no? Because you don't have time. No, it's always allocated somewhere. So, and you learn to value what you have
Yes.
and what you have now. But I think the bigger takeaway is that it makes you not so scared of circumstances. I'm not really saying courageous or that you are full of courage. Um, but things that you face later on in life is not so big after all. Parang yung mga ibang tao kasi parang mas nakakatakot siya. Pero sa'yo na hindi ka na natatakot bumalik na magdildil ng asin literally.
Yeah.
It does not face you at all. Sige lang, abanti lang, no problem. I mean, the ego root way.
That's
Kung kaya mo. Kung kaya mong gawin, wag mo nang sabihin, gawin mo na. If it cannot be done, then do something else. So, there's a lot of things that probably in life that I have to face. But because of that upbringing, because I always go back to my roots, it seems easier than my colleagues or my peers. Yeah.
Yun, tama ka dun eh. That's one of the best things that we learn. I mean, us na, di ba, tayong mga anak ng farmers, kasi hindi tayo takot maghirap eh.
Yes.
Hindi tayo takot tumawak sa lupa, kahit saan ka matulog, pwede. So, yes, that's why parang lahat ng everything that we have now, parang luxuries na lang
Yes,
siya. Kung plus points na lang, but we can live without them.
Yes.
We have them, so pasalamat tayo. But if we don't, we can also do with them. I think that's great. What are your best childhood memories? Ano yung mga pinaka na-enjoy mo growing up sa Sinipsip na napakaginaw?
Sometimes early in the morning when you go to the kalalilis and you, what do you call that? It's a kind of insect that flies that they burrow into the kalalilis, no? And you have to get them early in the morning. So, iipunin mo siya, lalagay mo sa jar, something like that. When you go early in the morning and you see the sunset, and it's all clouds.
Yeah.
Kasi parang pagpunta ka sa Sinipsip kasi back then, tanaw na tanaw mo ang Mount Pulag eh. So, it's really high in elevation. So, pag natutulog yung clouds and then you wake up earlier bago sila mag-disperse ng mga alas 8, you can see it is very serene and beautiful. You remember the cold. Every time you breathe, it's very, And spending so much time in the city here in Baguio and in Metro Manila, even in Mindanao, it's something that I go back to. It reminds me a lot of me growing up, and I miss those kind of moments. No? When you have no responsibility, or you may have responsibility but you don't call them responsibility. It's thing that you have to do, kasi you're not really that responsible at all. But as you grow older, you go back to those moments, and you learn to appreciate them more. And if it's possible, you spend moments like those again. It seems you want to recreate those kind of moments. Maybe I don't know if it's for the nostalgia, but I think it's just part of your psyche.
Yeah. It's part of the simplicity na napakasarap sa buhay.
Tama,
Lalo na ngayon, when everything is complicated, you just want to go back to that time na lahat parang plain, cool, easy, and just fun.
Yeah.
Diba?
I mean, kung kakain ka doon, usually patatas lang. Mashed potato yung tinapay mo.
Yes.
Tapos pure na barako. That's it. And I think that's your morning.
Yes.
It's not too complicated. Alam mo kasi ang sa mga Igorot is that our cuisine is not very complicated. It's very so simple.
That's true.
I-boil mo lang yung repolyo, i-boil mo lang whatever meat there is or kung anong meron. And that's it. No? Walang masyadong And that kind of simplicity actually, hahanap-hanapin mo rin in a way.
Totoo. Yung what ngayon, hindi ko maintindihan bakit ang sarap, asin lang naman.
Yes.
Tubig at asin lang naman. But it's, how do you call this? It's incredible. It's incomparable talaga sa ibang klase ng pagkain. Other people don't get it.
Yes.
Pero parang sa atin, parang ang sarap-sarap niya na kahit 3 times a day kang kumain ng pwede.
That's actually true kasi I've been with a lot of people who tried it for the first time and they're kind of disappointed.
Yes.
Kasi probably looking for a flavor that is foreign to them, but when it was explained to them yan, binoy lang po yan sa asin. Kung minsan may kunting dugo ng baboy. But that's it. Ang asin pa, you don't put a lot of asin.
Tama.
Konti-kunti lang para hindi masira yung meat. And that's it, no? So, sabi nila, what's so good about this? And sometimes I ask, I think it's not about the meat itself, but it's the culture behind it. And when you realize that it was prepared by your parents, it was the pig was butchered by your neighbors, and the situation as to how it was crafted, how it was cooked, no? It's a joyous occasion most of the time. At nakita mo na siguro kasi pag kumakain kayo marami para sa mga bata, para sa matatanda. So I think the joy of the occasion brings in the joy of the food.
Yes, that's true. Tapos lahat, ang daming humahawak, ganyan, may pawis-pawis na rin, ganyan. So that's what gives the flavor. But yes, I agree. One of the things that makes it taste really good is, yes, I think it's the appreciation of your culture. Because if you don't appreciate the culture, parang, what's the hype? What's the hype with what? Ano ba yan? Yes. But since you appreciate it, makes it taste even better. Okay, so tell us more about your higher education. Well, we know that you're a lawyer now, but how did you get there?
I graduated at St. Louis University undergrad with a degree of communication. And after graduation, I pursued a degree in philosophy.
Okay.
So,
philosophy ka pala?
Yes, parang nakulangan ako doon sa so I enrolled in philosophy. Medyo malapit ko nang matapos siya actually Kasi while I was pursuing communication, I was also pursuing philosophy.
Oh, okay.
So double major ako, pero hindi ko tinapos yung philosophy kasi may mga ilang units akong natira. And I enrolled in law school.
Okay.
Tapos binalikan ko siya, hindi siya allowed. Tapos nang binalikan ko siya after law school, iba ng curriculum.
Oh.
Sabi ko, not worth it. I'm not gonna do it. But after that, I went to law school. Walang break in between. So I graduated in law school 2010. And but throughout, I think what's more important is all throughout those years, ako working student. Nagsimula akong sa may Magsaysay. Doon sa may Star City Disco.
Star City Disco?
Kung sino yung mga tambay ng Star City Disco dyan, hindi po dyan ako nagtrabaho.
Okay.
Lower floor niya, andyan yung bilyaran, no? So I cleaned the billiard house, the tables, the CR, ganyan, for almost 2 years. So I was fortunate enough na binigyan ako ng ganyan kasi it's very malleable yung time. Punta lang ako doon hapon or early in the morning para maglinis. For almost 2 to 3 years nandun ako. So pero syempre pag gabi na mga 11 o'clock paglabas mo andyan Star City Disco, that kind of place, paglabas mo Baguio Country Sounds.
Okay, kasi so, may isip siya may Star City Disco. Okay, I remember now.
Pero magkaiba yung pinapanood mo sa dalawa kasi yun So paglabas mo doon, kasama mong uuwi sa La Trinidad, yung mga lasing talaga. Paglabas mo yung mga nag-aaway. So that was actually Magsaysay back then. Baka lang, hindi ko alam kung nag-iba siya, but almost every night ganun siya.
Yes. Oh, so that was your entire college? Like, yeah, I remember. Kaya naalala ko before, and tinatanong nila ako na, how did you meet in college? I think we knew each other by face in college.
Yes.
Kasi ang mga friends mo more like sino Kuya Neptali yata.
Nauna sila.
Oo, board member Neptali Kamsong.
Yes.
Okay.
Pero yes, we saw each other kasi lalo dun sa BBAC, mga ganyan.
Yes.
So, yung circle of friends natin is the same. It's the same. Yes.
And I remember saying na, I knew Marlon back then but we were not close kasi ako kasi noon kalat ako na estudyante. Sila yung mga genius, yung mga matatalino, sila yung mga I think you were part of the debate club ba yun?
Yes. Hindi naman sa well, I think I'm more kalat din. Kalat din naman niya ako masyado kasi hindi ako sumusunod dun sa mga batch na yan.
Okay.
But I was more sabi natin na into the kasi andyan yung organization dyan andyan yung Debate Society, andyan yung BBAC, andyan yung CC, yung sa Fair-Forming Group. We have a lot of organizations back then. And then the Black and White and yung writing in the But doon ako sa Debate Society more nag-focus. Kayo naman sa kabila.
Ako sa tambay lang ako doon sa bridge na may perfecto noon sa SLU. Because my major is philosophy, so most of my friends were male obviously. And that's how I knew you. But then
I think kasi sa philosophy we have the same circle.
Yes.
Pero kasi ako depende kung anong subjects yung kinukuha ko.
Oh, okay. Right.
So I was not a part of your regular classes.
Yes.
Pero I don't know kung nagkaklase pa tayo.
Kasi double major ka nga again. Yes. Sabi ko nga sila yung mga seryoso kasi yan ng college, so that's why we didn't become friends, I think. But you were part of the Debate Society. I remember parang did you represent the Philippines somewhere or SLU somewhere?
Yes. I had some international competition experience. So I was I think yung international ko was sa Malaysia sa World Debate Championship, mga ganyan. There was this another international pero it was held in Ateneo. I think it's for Australia and Asian countries, mga ganyan. The Philippines, of course, we have regular competition debate. So I was a regular participant.
Oh, okay.
Dito sa CAR also, we have a lot of competitions sa debate. Yeah.
So representing SLU Debate Society,
SLU,
ganon?
yes.
Okay, not Benguet.
No, it's school-based siya.
Okay. I see.
So university-based kasi yung competition. But I think in a lot of ways, kasi kung when you go to places outside of your school, you carry whatever you carry.
That's true.
And it's gonna be your province, it's gonna be your hometown, it's gonna be your cultural heritage.
Yes.
So when you represent all.
That's
ganyan.
true. This is probably stating the obvious, but why did you join Debate Society?
I don't know exactly why. My idea is that maybe it's something cool kasi I love to argue.
Okay.
I love to argue with my classmate probably. But when I went there, it's quite different. Ang daming formalities, mga ganyan. But nonetheless, I think I did our province proud. I siguro hindi naman sa pagbubuhat ng sariling bangko. Kung meron man tayo, wala naman tayong bangko. But I think we did okay. I was the president then of the Debate Society for quite a time.
Okay, cool.
I was the first president of the Northern Luzon Debate Federation. So we won several championship during my time. And siguro kahit sa national level, hindi siya naka-champion but it's near. Parang mga ganun. Na for the first time nakaabot tayo ng ganun. So ganun yung mga...
Cool. Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. You love to argue, pala. Okay, I'll have to ask your wife about that. Hi.
No, my wife also is once upon a time the president of the Debate Society.
Oh, in SLU.
And you know, of course, you don't argue with your wife kasi wala nang panalo dyan.
Okay, yeah. That's where you lost.
So, yeah, so,
Awesome. Okay, so yun ang background niya, right? So philosophy and then law school. But how about being a lawyer? Was it something you wanted since you were a child, or is it a dream that developed while you were growing up?
I love to read.
Okay.
I love to read
Yeah.
when I was in elementary. Alam mo nung yung business ko ng elementary ako, nagbibinta ako ng comics.
Ah?
Oo. Pupunta ako
Sinipsip ito.
sa Sinipsip. Pupunta ako ng Abatan. Bibili ako ng bagong set ng comics.
Okay.
Babasahin ko, tapos ibibenta ko siya.
Oh.
Kasi yung napagbintahan ko, almost every Saturday I do that. You know at what grade? At grade 3.
Wow.
So that's how my mom made me so independent, probably.
That's
Pero I think that's the start of my love for books, which continued in high school, in college, and that's why I think I went to Debate Society.
Okay.
Because I think probably I want to explore more of the ideas that probably I had that I cannot really find in the confines of the classroom. Okay,
All right.
so ganun siya.
So it's because of the reading.
And after a while, probably na it's a thought. Kasi syempre, hindi naman kayo mayaman. The first thing I did after graduation was to look for a job.
Okay.
So, nag-call center ako ng konti. Nag-trainee ako ng call center.
Oh,
Yes.
dito sa Baguio?
Yes.
So can I mention it's Saitel? Was it Saitel?
I forgot.
Okay.
Diyan sa may paano ba?
Luwakan.
Harap ng Mount Christ ba? Yung Mount Christ.
Call center ka pala. Sa
Oh.
Belagarda. Yeah.
Yes. So I trained for a week. So
Okay.
I was maybe more than a week. But I also applied for several publications. Pero magkakaroon ng enrollment ng law school. So sabi ng kapatid ko, siguro in the meantime, kasi may trabaho naman ako, mag-apply ka muna ng law school habang nag-aantay ka ng result ng mga applications mo.
Okay.
So I applied for law school. Nakuha naman, and then I started sa law school. I think there's no going back. Kasi once you commit to that, sayang na yung resources eh. Parang as a child of farming, once you commit to something na alam mo na kasama mo na yung family mo, yung community mo, you have to push through kasi sayang yung pinaghirapan nila, sayang yung efforts nila.
That's true.
So after that, while in law school, nagturo rin ako ng mga Koreans, English language. Okay. Mas maganda kasi yung time mo in the
Alam yun.
morning, mga ganyan.
I didn't know that about you.
In the morning, mas maganda yun kasi magturo ako in the morning, mag-review ako in the afternoon.
Okay.
But dahil kulang yung earnings, so I have to teach mga 7 to 8 hours. Tapos tatakbuhin mo yung law school sa SLU. Dito kami sa may harap ng, nandito sa ano? Ano yung pinakaunang mall sa Baguio?
Center Mall.
Sa Center Mall, may Korean school sa harap niya. It's an IELTS school.
Okay.
So I teach speaking, writing, mga ganyan, listening for more than a year. And then nagturo rin ako sa data center. Why? Because ang lapit niya sa law school.
Yes.
Di ba? Pwedeng takbuhin mo. Kasi yun yung laging problema sa amin. Lagi kami nalilate.
Yes.
So, and then when I was at fourth year law school, nagtrabaho ako sa DPWH as a legal assistant. Mas madali naman yun kasi engineer's hill, tatakbuhin mo lang siya. Kasi pag mag-jeep ka, malilate ka na talaga dyan. So you have to walk. But most of the time, we are also late. Kasi 5 o'clock yung ano mo, tapos papasok ko ng 5:30. So that's it. Almost throughout my undergrad and law school, I was a working student.
You were working. Okay. That's really inspiring. And I think that that's a good thing. Kasi sabi mo nga, 4 boys, and you were being raised by mom, si mami. Okay. So, yun. So, it's the love for books that pushed you to go to law school. Is there any specific experience that made you think, okay, I want to be a lawyer?
Hindi naman siguro wala ako yung inapi tayo at kailangan ko ipagtanggol yung ano. I think it's more of cultural.
Okay.
Kasi ang lawyer sa atin, it's not out of ordinary. Ang nagkakalat sila dyan sa tabi-tabi, ang dami ng mga yan. So, hindi naman sila talagang inspired kasi sa pinagagawa nila. But it's something that's possible, achievable. Hindi yung pag mag-medicine ka, magdo-doctor ka, it's really out of your pocket talaga.
Okay.
Out of your budget talaga siya. But law school is something that can be done kasi nakikita mo yung iba, same naman yung childhood nyo, same naman yung status nyo sa buhay, pero sila naka-law school, naka-graduate. So sabi ko, maybe it's something that's also achievable on my part. Yun. It's not to bring my family out of poverty, mga ganyan. I am inspired to do it. But I think it's more out of necessity and probably to make something out of myself.
All right.
And probably to make my community proud, probably in a way.
Okay. And you definitely have done that.
Well, I hope.
Yes. Best memories in law school. Is there any?
Siguro yung mga recitation natin. No, okay. Kasi kala ko ang tali-talino ko eh. I have that certain degree of arrogance na I'm a debate champion, mga ganyan.
Alright.
I read a lot of books. I know a lot of things. Pagpunta mo sa law school, ang tanong nila, did you read this case? Sabihin mo, no. Can you explain to me this one? Saan mo siya huhugutin? Pag hindi ka talaga nagbasa, mapapahiya ka talaga doon. And you're all professionals. No?
Okay.
Andun mga kasama mga police, all of them, no? Tapos pero walang tinginan, lahat yung mga tao nakatingin sa baba. Parang it's a culture shock.
Yeah.
No? Well, I'm not so smart after all. No? I really have to read what was assigned to me in order for me to see something. Kasi kung wala kang nabasa, wala ka talagang participation. But siguro mas ano sa akin, mas memorable yung mga you have an exam tomorrow. And I just got home ng 9:30 kasi yun yung and you have to travel from Baguio to La Trinidad. And you have to prepare for lesson. Kasi magtutulog ka. Gigising ka ng 7:30. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko siya napagkasya. You know? And then, Saturday, Sundays, you have to maglaba ka, read ka ng a lot of cases. Sometimes you just sleep 1 hour, 2 hours, mga ganyan. Pagpasok mo sa lutang na lutang. I mean, yung literal na you have that feeling na nakalutang ka. Probably those are the best memories because it shows what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And then yung from engineer's hill, tatakbo ka para maabutan mo yung 5:30 kasi baka pagpasok mo doon, ikaw yung nakita ng instructor, ikaw yung mag-recite.
Tawagin ka na.
Tawagin ka na. You're volunteering yourself. Of course not. Pero hindi ka pa kumakain nun. If you have time, pupunta ka sa canteen, magkape ka lang muna tapos, and then you go to... Everything is a blur in law school. Everything, any and every available time is allotted for reading.
Yeah.
So
And it reminds you of
Yeah,
how hard you worked.
it's fun, but it's something that I don't want to do it again.
Tama, yung mga tipong one-time experience
Yeah.
lang, I'm not gonna do this again. Okay, in my case, it's like having a child for me. Fun experience, but I'm not gonna do it again. Mga ganon.
Yes, yes.
Did you have a favorite professor in law school? I think I would be familiar with
Yes,
the
yes.
professors sa SLU. And why is that person your favorite professor?
Medyo mahirap magsalita kasi
We all love them. But
yes, we all love them. They're all integral to our
Yes.
learning into our success.
Sure.
Pero medyo magsalita ng ano kasi alam mo naman friends natin ang mga to sa Facebook. At most of the time we see them around.
yes, that's true.
But what I can say is that lahat ng mga low professors natin, kahit yung mga useless, no?
Yes.
You learn a lot from them.
Grabe sa useless. Yes.
Oo naman, yung papasok lang ng during exam tapos magagalit pa kasi. But the
Yes.
thing is that it push you to read.
Uh-huh.
Kahit hindi tinuro, but alam mo naman na pag pumasa ka or hindi ka pumasa sa exam niya, it doesn't really matter.
Yes.
Kasi hindi naman yun yung mag-judge sa'yo. Eh. So, you become something else. You learn to be more self-sufficient sa mga taong ganun.
That's
But
true.
I really appreciate yung sa teachers talaga nagtuturo. That really guide. Yung dami nila dyan, sina Ma'am Lulu, ganyan.
Yes.
Sina Sir Sagsago, mga ganyan.
Oo naman.
Oo. Sina Sir Morales, sina Sir Barlis, mga ganyan.
Yes. They are really admirable. So, from law school, after you graduated 2010, ano?
Yes.
Okay. First job after law
I
school.
taught at Pine City Colleges.
Nagturo ka pa pala. Okay.
Oo. Nagturo ako doon while waiting for the result of the bar.
Oh, okay. Right.
Okay, so pero nung nagtatrabaho ko sa DPWH when we were assisting on the cases na-meet namin yung mga solicitors from Office of Solicitor General.
Alright.
And they encouraged us to apply. So what I did after passing after the examination was to submit my resume. So while na-interview ako, nagkaroon ako na naman ng examination, and then a panel interview, tapos may written examination. So, but in the meantime, I was teaching at Pines. Okay. Turo ako ng mga yung nagpapaanak ng mga
Midwife?
mga midwifery,
Okay.
may midwifery students.
So, ano tinuro mo sa kanila?
Mga constitution,
Okay.
philosophy also, ganyan. Mga general courses.
Alright.
It was a fun time kasi wala na yung wala na yung atmosphere ng law school you have to read, no? Anaantay mo na lang yung result. Tapos after that, so nag-apply ako sa OSG. On the day na lumabas yung result ng bar exam,
Okay.
the first call that I had was from the office of the Solicitor General. Because I didn't have any plan to work there. Actually, my first plan was to work here.
Dito sa atin?
Sa atin. Kasi wala naman akong concept ng magtrabaho sa Manila. I'm a small town boy. Probably inisip ko na magtrabaho ko dyan, magtayo ng mga small law office, make a name for myself, and if I have something, return back to the community. No, I wasn't really expecting to be called upon sa OSG kasi medyo masalimuot yung application.
Okay.
First is that you have to take a written examination. Gagawa ka ng pleading, something which I have never done in my life. Tapos kasabay mo galing Ateneo, mga galing ng UP, San Beda, ganyan. And we were more than 100 probably nag-apply,
Wow.
ganyan.
Bongga
And
naman.
after that, magkakaroon ng panel interview, alam mo na mga assistant solicitor generals yung mga. So, I didn't have so much confidence that I'm gonna do it because you can feel the level of discrimination.
Oh.
Yeah. Parang, saan school ka nag-graduate? Sa Baguio. Anong school doon? Sa SLU. And when yung mga ibang taong kasama mo, galing sila ng UP, mga Ateneo, and they talk about common stuff. They talk about the professors that magkakasama sila, alam nila eh. So, fish out of the water yung feeling mo doon. Fish out of the water. Pero may may kunting yabang pa rin tayo sa atin.
Of course.
How could they be better than me? Saan sila mas magaling? Parang that's my concept. Parehas namang libro yung binasa natin. Siguro kung anong book yung binasa mo, maybe I have read more books than you. Kasi parang kapag ako nag-review sa law school, I don't read one book. Kasi bored na ako pag so I read another one, ganyan. Sabi ko, parehas naman yung batas. Hindi naman iba yung batas na inaral niya sa Ateneo or UP, ganyan.
Yes.
Sa batas na inaral ko sa SLU, it's the same. So, how could they be better than me? Yan parang sa akin, So, while I'm not very much confident because I'm not part of the circle, I think that maybe doing law practice is something that I'm more suited. No? Pero, after a while, tinawagan ako, nakapasa ako. And from out of probably 100, we were maybe 13 kaming nakapasa.
Oh, wow.
And,
Big bit.
and my wife is a part of that group.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that was supposed to be my next question. Were you the only one from Benguet or from SLU na nag-apply at that time?
Dalawa lang kami.
Dalawa kayo.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Is that how you met or you met in SLU even before that?
Oh, nag-meet,
Nakichismis na ng personal, di ba?
nag-meet na kami ng debate society.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, you mentioned
Political
it.
science siya, mass communication ako. And we are not really much of a close, hindi kami masyadong close kasi what they call this, iba yung circle of friends niya. I was a little bit older sa debate society, so I have a different set of
Okay.
friends. Mga ganun, pero ganun siya. Pero when I went to law school, rin siya first year law school din siya, ako rin. But hindi rin kami masyadong close kasi different yung section niya. Ako naman sa working section.
Oh,
So, section A siya, tapos tayo mapatapon na section.
Okay, dun sa gilid-gilid na section. Okay, that's very cool. So that's how you met and that's how you got into the Office of the Solicitor General. Okay, for everyone's knowledge, what do you do with the Office of the Solicitor General?
Yes. Hindi po kami nagsosolicit. No?
Yeah, okay. Or what was your job there? Oo nga, nagsusolicit ba kayo? Ano bang sinusolicit
Sabi nga
niyo?
solicitor it's an old name kasi ang solicitor but basically we are just the lawyers of the government. So if the government wants to file cases, any other kind of cases, kami yon. Kung pa-filean mo ng kaso ang government, kami rin yun. So basically we just have one client. It's gonna be the Republic of the Philippines.
All right.
So ganyan.
And to be clear, okay, yeah, solicitor is a term for a lawyer, right? I think it's an English or
it's an English term.
Australian term.
It came mga British yan.
Yes, or British, yes. Solicitor, yes, so that's the word. So how long were you there? How long did you work
I
there?
was there from April of 2011 until December 26 of 2019.
Okay. Oh, long time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and you were there when we met, right? Sa may Tagaytay, there was a
Yes.
a paint
Yes.
art show or something.
Ng
That's
mga
where we saw
preso.
each other. Yes.
Yes.
That's where we saw each other after a very long time. And I'm
Yes.
like, I know this guy. Okay. And yeah, because we were told before you arrived at the venue na, darating daw yung mga tiga Office of the Solicitor General. And then so I was like, I know that guy. He's from SLU. And then I think we chatted a little at that time. Okay. So, 8 years, tama ba?
Yes, 8 years.
Okay, 8 years.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about your most memorable case, siguro, or if you can. I mean,
Yes,
there's no
I
need to
can naman.
mention names, yeah.
Siguro yung entry point ko is yung impeachment kagad ni Chief Justice Corona.
Oh, okay.
So we were the one yung division namin yung kahandle doon. So medyo yun kasi you have to represent Congress, you have to represent Senate, you have to go against the big law firms, mga ganyan-ganyan. And but probably yung more memorable to me kasi I personally handle it is yung meron kasing scam sa sa Mindanao, yung right of way scam.
Okay.
It is 8.4 billion right of way scam, no, na nakapag-release na yung government natin ng ilang parang para mag-claim yung mga tao na yung bahay nila nakuhanan ng binil yung road na to, ganyan, patong-panok ng mga claims, but it's actually a syndicate. At nakakatakot talaga kasi you can feel the tension na parang paglapag ko dun parang babarilin ako kasi probably everybody's into it, no, from I don't know kung I really hate to say it, but maybe members of the judiciary, mga ganyan, kasi walang nangyayari sa mga kaso and maybe part of the LGU kasi paano sila nagpa-process ng claim, even part of the government employees kasi you cannot release those kind of money na walang participation. So you can smell it from a mile away. That's really a conspiratorial kind of crime na alam mo na. And hindi ko alam yun. Pag ko sa North Cotabato ba kagad, bagsak ko doon. So I really have to talk to the judge, mga ganyan na. We really have to stop the payment of around 4.4 billion.
Wow.
Sabi ko kasi pag hindi natin gagawin to, so punta ako sa chambers niya. So it is a kind of case that was not decided on the courtroom, but it was decided inside the chamber of the judge.
Oh.
So, yun. But it takes a lot of courage to pull it off. So ganun, you have to give the national government's looking into it, the national government's worried, the secretaries doon. So you have to throw everything there.
Yes.
Kasi I don't really believe na babalik pa ako doon makapag-hearing at makakalis ako ng buhay. So I was able to convince the judge that we have to do this, mga ganyan. And with that kind of effort, parang probably we were able to save mga 4.5 billion pa ang natitira na billable na hindi na binayaran because of that they have to cancel it.
Yes.
Kasi mga kalaban mo si Commander Bravo, mga commander mga ganito eh. Sabi na, hindi kasi yung nagpa-follow up niyan, certain commander ng MILF, certain commander ng MNLF, parang and you're entering their territory. And parang a days prior to doon umalis ako doon sa hotel ko. Ano siya, niratrat siya eh.
This is in Mindanao.
Tapos hinagyan pa ng granada. And the judge that I talked to, pinagbabaril yun din yung bahay.
Wow.
So those are the kind of cases. Pero quite memorable. No?
Yes.
So looking back, I was quite stupid, but I was quite brave at the same time. No?
And that's a good thing. That's very
ignorant way for me.
No, that's very ignorant. Tipong fighter ka talaga. And well, ever since you were a child, coming from your stories, ever since you were a child, you seem to be very resilient. And sabi mo nga, fighter from the start. So, after 8 years in the office of the Solicitor General, you moved to NCIP.
Yes.
NCIP. What made you take that move?
I'm not really looking for a career change.
Okay.
No, I love what I do in the Office of Solicitor General. I love that I get to argue sa Court of Appeals, mga ganyan. I get to participate sa my pleadings to the Supreme Court, mga ganyan. There are interesting cases, there are boring cases, there are ordinary cases, but once in a while, there are good cases that made you love your job.
Yeah.
But when I was at the OSG, there's a certain gap that I saw.
Okay.
There were cases that I handled that goes against indigenous cultural communities.
Okay.
So cases in Palawan, cases in Boracay, cases in Mindanao, here in the city of Baguio, I think even part of La Trinidad, doon sa my forest area, and some issues regarding sa forest area ng Mountain Province.
Okay.
And but here in Baguio, the problem is I don't think that it applies to all, no? Kasi but there is a gap when it comes to quality of lawyers or people who are handling indigenous people's cases. Most of the time, they are just a subject of, kung may bigay, kung may mag-volunteer, may mag-pro bono, bago sila mabigyan ng proper representation. Most of the time, wala. Punta ka sa Mindanao, wala masyadong proper representation. So I say that, I saw that there's a gap. Sabi ko naman, ang dami naman matatalino sa OSGA. Probably my talents, if there is in the first place, is not needed here.
Okay.
Maybe, sabi ko, I came to be like this. I was able to finish law school because of my community. Maybe it's time for me to give back something to my community. It sounds cheesy that way, but that was actually the motivating factor na siguro it's time for me to do something about it. I meant to give back.
Okay.
So that made me apply sa OSG. And one of the things kasi there is that I was part of several task forces, no? Fighting insurgency, mga ganyan, mostly affected is mga IAPs. And there's one presentation that was made before foreign ambassadors. And it was recounted there the different atrocities na ginawa sa mga IAPs na hindi ko alam. Halimbawa, yung pagpatay sa kanila, na pagsunog sa mga areas nila, pag-enslave sa mga anak nila, and then pag-recruit sa mga IP students. Sinasabi nila na around 67% ng mga IPs ay na-recruit na ginagawang NPA, mga ganun. And there's a lot of things that I didn't know that exposed me. And sabi ko, maybe I want to be a part of whatever change that I can make. So nag-apply ako. Fortunately, I was kinuha ko. I was accepted kasi it's a presidential appointment eh. First na ina-apply ko is a regional director.
Okay.
Pero binigay sa akin is bureau chief. So I was the bureau director for legal affairs of the whole NCIP.
Oh, all right.
That was my first job.
And then you eventually moved to...
So after 2 months,
Okay.
I was appointed as regional director ng Region 13,
Okay.
Caraga. At the same time, bureau director ng legal affairs.
Aha.
So I spent some time in Manila and then I fly to Mindanao. Almost every 2 weeks ganun siya. And
Sarap, di ba?
in November of 2020. So just 11 months after nilit go ko ang bureau director ng
Okay.
legal affairs because I was being appointed as regional director ng CAR
DPO.
here.
Okay. Yeah.
At the same time, Region 13. So, every 2 weeks, 2 weeks ako dito, tapos punta ako doon. At that time, at the height of pandemic.
Right.
So, it's quite, medyo mahirap siya kasi ang hirap mag-penetrate ng communities. Kasi you have to do a lot of yung mga protocols. No?
Okay.
So, that was my job during the time of pandemic actually.
All right. So, the reason that you joined NCIP, nakakagulat nga, no, yung sinabi mo yung mga atrocities being committed against IPs, yung na-enslave sila, and to think that we live in this generation. Parang, it's the 20th century, pero
That's
meron
true.
pa rin
That's
palang
true.
ganun.
One of the cases that I filed when I was as a bureau director was a case of I don't know kung ilan silang mga bata, maybe 10 na yung kaso nila is forced servitude. Yung parang it's the same as it's akin to slavery. Yung ito yung pinagagawa sa kanila, taga-bili ng pagkain ng NPA, ganyan. Ganun, kasi runner sila, mga bata sila, hindi sila hindi susceptible to, hindi sila pwedeng pag hinulo sila, wala silang kaso, mga ganan.
Okay.
Taga-linis ng nila, whatever, ginagawa silang
Okay, but this is in the south, right? Not here sa atin.
I don't know if it's happening
north.
here kasi there are bases naman dito eh. But the experience that I had in the information that I had at the time was sa south.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Most memorable experience while you were in NCIP. Naalala ko meron kang mga instances ng mga mga near-death
Yes.
experiences eh.
Kasi while also I was at the NCIP, I was also appointed as the spokesperson
There you go.
of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. Okay. Specifically for legal affairs dun sa mga IPs.
Okay.
So what I did was, alam mo kasi pagpunta ka sa South, you can in some areas, in some communities, you can feel the fear in the community. They are very welcoming, lalo pa kasi pag mga IPs yan, they are so happy to see you, no? But the openness of the community that I am accustomed to, lalo pag nandito tayo sa North, is not the same. Parang laging may nagmamasid sa'yo, mga ganyan-ganyan. So sa akin, if you want to bring hope, or you want to show people that there's nothing to be afraid of, you have to be in the community. So every time that I go to the South, I go to the most red part of the South. Yung parang most
Iba rin ang
influence. Kasi most of the most influence, if not all of the most influence red area are IP area. You do not have the right to say that, let us be courageous. Let us go back to the folds of the government. If you yourself, pagpunta mo doon, takot ka. Or pagpunta mo doon, maraming salamat po kasi you are the first regional director ng NCIP na nakarating dito. No? That's not even a badge of honor. So what we did was we bring in government services.
Okay.
Ang ginagawa namin, punta kami, we identify that area. Punta kami, we bring in DNR, Department of Agriculture, COMELEC, even Population Commission. Kasi pagpunta mo doon, there's, the issue of population is an issue eh. The issue of sexual education for young female IPs is a matter of concern. No? Kasi mga 14, 15 years old, buntis na or pinapaasawa na. Kasi there's a matter of, it's either cultural or it's either economic. So, punta ka doon, you bring in government services.
Yeah.
But most of the time, meron tayong tinatawag na ice cream advocacy. Pasan-pasan namin yung ice cream. And we hope to bring joy to the kids na, here we are the government. We care about you. We are here because of that. These are the services that probably you cannot afford to have because you have to walk hours and several kilometers to to avail of. Pagpunta mo, hindi mo alam kung ma-avail mo pa siya o hindi. Kung pipila ka pa or anong gagawin mo. Pati nga registration ng mga motor nila, pinapupunta namin yung LTO.
Okay.
And registration ng mga birth certificate nila, nandoon. Registration ng marriage, death certificate. We bring in the registrar to the mountains, no? So we have to walk hours, mga ganyan. So I think that rather is the most memorable for me because I was able to traverse the mountains and see how beautiful the areas of the indigenous peoples, to be a part of the indigenous communities that it's different from ours, but almost the same set of cultures, no? To see their dances, their songs. Because once na IP ka, punta ka sa IP community, there's a breath of being at home.
Yeah, that's true.
Parang you understand in so many levels without speaking.
Yeah.
Kasi hindi ka ako makabaligya, makasalita ng Bisaya. Di ako makasabot ng Bisaya. So there's that language barrier. But I think being an IP, going to another IP, that helps a lot, no? To communicate what I'm trying to do.
Yes. Wow. Oo, nakita ko, ingit nga ako sa pictures na ito eh. Yung mga nagbabalsa ka pa, na nagpupunta ka sa mga communities na parang nakatira lang sila dun sa, yung nakaangat sa tubig.
Yes.
Pumupunta ka sa bundok. So, hindi lang dito sa Benguet na merong mga bundok-bundok na nilalakad, hindi lang din po dito, other parts of the Philippines. And yes, sabi mo nga, being an IP, there are more than 119 indigenous groups here in the Philippines. So, hindi lang tayo dito sa Benguet, hindi lang tayo dito sa Cordillera. There are more. And we can kanais, tama ba? We are the third largest IP group in the Philippines. That's why we are very proud. And itong mga tiga-South nga, di ba? Lagi nilang sinasabi na they admire us Igorots kasi we are very, ano sabi nila? Parang tayong nakakaangat, elevated.
Yes.
Tama. Nakakaangat daw tayo sa kanila and they really envy us. Kaya nga, believe sila sa'yo. Diba?
And you know what? Pag kinakausap nila, when they think of the North, parang it's all about Metro Manila.
Yeah.
But yung dream lang puntahan is not really Metro Manila. It's more of Baguio, Sagada, or Batanes. Yung IP din natin ng Batanes.
Okay.
So maybe in that sense, no, parang there's a shared language that is unspoken among IPs.
I think you had a really good relationship with the community sa Caragan. I saw the photos, videos, and I think that they really accepted you well. It helped siguro, no? Kasi na dito ka sinasabi mo indigenous ka din.
Yes,
Sabi mo nga nakaka-identify sila sa'yo. So you have families there siguro, no? May mga adopted families ka din ba doon? Until now?
Parang walang ganyan. Maybe because I was not able to immerse myself as much as I would like to.
Okay.
Kasi yung limitation nga ng time, I have to spend time sa office. Kasi 2 weeks lang ako doon eh.
Okay, right.
And then I have to go to communities. And pagpunta ka ng community, either you spend 1 night there. And then the next time, hindi mo siya mabalikan.
Yes.
Kasi you have to go to another one. So, ganun. Siguro my time is quite limited. So, but I think naman kahit papaano, I think maybe they had a good memory of me also. Kasi pagpunta mo doon, there's a lot of adjustment. There's a lot of unfamiliarity. There's a lot, especially language. Wala akong kakilala ng pinunta ko na kahit isang tao. Wala akong kakilala or wala talaga. I was just thrown there, do something about this big problem, especially in mining. And my boss expected results.
Okay.
But I think what made my job easier is because I am an IP.
Okay.
We speak of the same simplicity,
Yes.
ganyan. Kahit saan tayo itapon, kahit kape lang yung pang morning mo, kahit kamote, ganyan, shared kamote. It's the same, no? It's not foreign to you.
Yes.
And you can move as authentic as possible kasi people will see, if kung masyado kang plastic, gumagawa na, dito ako, ganyan. You show yourself as a savior.
Yes.
But if you go there, kasi alam mong IP ka, you go there as part of the community. And you go there to admire the community and to be a part of it and to learn from it. And I think that made my transition a little bit easier.
Yes.
Kasi my entry points that isa rin po akong IP. Yes. And as an IP, ito rin po yung kinalakihan ko. May bundok kayo, may bundok na kami, may ilog kayo, may ilog na kami. We share so much similarity.
Yes,
Hindi po ako foreigner sa That's why I think I'm a little bit accepted.
Yes. So, di ba? Yeah, kung titingnan mo nga, di ba, yung mga nila, yung mga damit nila, yung mga pagka-weave, the colors,
Yes.
yung mga beads, they are similar. Tapos makikita mo pa na halos parang pareho sa Indians or yung mga old noon. Alright. So now, I think now people have a really good idea why Ipanao Sambayanan or what it is about, okay? So yes, now we are going to talk about Ipanao Sambayanan. We are going to talk about party list system. But before we do that, let's check again. Natuto na ako kagabi na mag-check muna tayo ng comments if there are any questions for you because there might be. Okay, so good evening. Syempre, my brother, Kuya Ritson, is watching. Si Kuya, yung mga kasama natin sa Ipanao Sambayanan. Grabe, may watching from Zamboanga, from Pasay. Hello, Ma'am Che. And si Tita Banji. Tita ba or ate? Si Banji Busantog Julian. So inspiring.
Manang.
Sabi niya. Hi, Ate Banji. Proud of you, brother, sabi niya. Hi, singing Igorot, si Riano. Belated happy birthday to our official singer.
Yes.
To our official singer ng Ipanao Sambayanan, Teo June. Watching you here sa UAE. Grabe naman ang watcher mo. Napakalayo. Hello. Hi, Meline. Hi, Meline from Ifugao. Alright, sabi. Yan daw ang mga magagandang services. So, okay. Yes, now. But I think now, after you talked about all your experiences and your career journey, feeling ko naman meron na silang idea why Ipanao Sambayanan. Okay. Sabi ni Ate Linda Moreno, yan ang ating Representative Attorney Marlon Busantog.
Maybe
Tunay
she's watching from Hong Kong.
Wow, grabe. Tunay na hi Ate from Hong Kong. Tunay na may malasakit sa kapwa katutubo at sa sambayanang Pilipino. Okay? So, paano natin ngayon yan ma-achieve? Alright, so before we even talk about Ipanao Sambayanan, the last time, sabi nga nila, napakababa daw ng turnout ng votes ng party list here in Benguet. And I think hindi lang sa Benguet, but in the Cordilleras.
Yes.
Okay, but could you help us understand a little bit, what is the party list system? Just in a nutshell.
Yes.
Just so people would understand why it's important for them to vote
Yes.
the party list.
The party list system was created in order to provide representation for the marginalized and the underrepresented.
Yes.
Yun yung spirit niya kahit hindi yan yung nangyayari ngayon. Okay. It specifically talks of representation for farmers, fisher folks, and indigenous peoples.
Okay.
Why? Kasi kahit meron tayong IP congressman halimbawa ng Benguet, Mountain Province, they are limited sa kanilang district eh. Kasi pag pinakailaman mo yung district halimbawa ni Ifugao, sabi ni Congressman Chungalo, bakit ka hindi ka alam dito taga Mountain Province ka?
Okay.
But the issue of the IP actually is something that is national. Issue natin ng IP sa Batanes, dito sa CAR, sa South, sa Palawan, and then sa Mindanao. There's something that there's a commonality of problem that cannot be addressed by district congressmen. There's a need for representation in order to marry all these concerns.
Right.
For example, the land concern, the issue of ancestral domain, that is not something na concern lang ng Baguio or ng Benguet. No? It's a concern of all IPs, and that's the biggest problem of all the IPs. So if you want to create a law, it must represent all the aspirations and problems of all the IPs. Hindi pwedeng dito lang sa Benguet kasi ito lang alam ko at dito lang siya mag-apply. Hindi pwede. It is borderless, no? The kind of concerns. So there should be, and that's the kind of representation that was embodied in the party list system. To have representation from different sectors because of the commonality of problem. They need representation that is not bound by legislative districts. So, yan, that's what we are aiming for. Now, hopefully, we have something to represent the indigenous peoples of the Philippines. Pero ngayon kasi marami tayong friends from the urban poor sector na sumusuporta sa atin. And from the urban poor sectors kasi sila yung nag-ano sa atin, tumutulong din sa atin.
Okay. So yun, that's the party list. That's why it is important for us to vote. Okay? And again, just to be clear, isa lang po ang i-vote natin sa party list kasi para hindi masayang yung votes natin. If we choose to support a specific advocacy, that's what we vote for. Alright, so why Ipanao Sambayanan? Feeling ko kasi may mga ibang nanligaw sa'yo na party list eh. But why Ipanao Sambayanan specifically?
Actually, I don't have a plan on running.
Okay.
Wala talaga akong plano mag-run, okay? So, I first decided to run after due consultation and approval and consent of the wife. Kasi was mga September of 2021, maybe
Right.
1 week prior to the election. Kasi magkakaroon ng tatakbo ang party list na ito, yung Ipanaw,
Okay.
to join the party list system. Hindi ako I wasn't a part of it. Nung nag-file
back in
sila,
2021, okay.
When they filed the IPs Ipanaw, syempre pag part ako doon, sabihin ko na palitan natin yung word na Ipanaw.
Okay.
Maybe it's great na it's a great word in the south, not so great in the north.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a part of the creation of the party list, the naming of the party list, the filing of the petition of the party list.
Okay.
But the party list, when they're looking for nominees,
Okay.
They want to make it a representation not only of the Mindanao people, of the Mindanao IPs. So they look for representation from Visayas, Central Luzon, Southern Luzon, and Northern Luzon.
Okay.
So it was offered to me. I was a regional director din, parang sabi ko, parang it's too early for me to join politics. If ever I will join politics. Pinaghirapan ko rin naman kahit papaano na makuha ko yung appointment na regional director. Sa presidential appointment, it's so hard to get. No? But when I was a regional director, ang daming pressure from Congress. Pagpunta namin sa Congress, yung mga NCIP nito, yung mga trabaho nila, bigyan natin ng zero budget.
Okay.
1 peso budget, i-abolish natin yan. I hear that not only from congressmen of the South, but even congressmen of the North.
Oh, okay.
We challenge that kasi ang sabi ni April is just, it just need one constitutional challenge, it will be declared unconstitutional. Mga tipong ganun. And when I'm doing my job, ang daming tumatawag na congressman, pagbigyan mo to, kung hindi mo pagbibigyan yan, kawawa yung budget niyo. From secretaries of department, no?
Okay.
Sabi na, wag mong gawin yan kasi kung hindi tatanggalin ka namin sa trabaho. No? There's so much, pero walang pushback from the NCIP. Mahirap ka magkaroon ng pushback kasi kung halimbawa lumaban ka at tinanggal yung NCIP, mas kawawa. No? So you look for other solutions. No? But I am not in the business of accommodating this request.
Right.
Okay? I was threatened to be removed. Sabi ko, okay, kahit patanggal ako bukas. I was threatened physically. I was threatened in a lot of ways. No? Hindi naman sasabihin ito yung gagawin nila sa'yo. No? Mag-ingat ka dyan kasi I cannot stop my bosses from doing something. Kung ano man yung gagawin nila, mga tipong mga ganyan . So sabi ko, kung ganito palagi ang NCIP,
Yes.
because there's a lot of people in NCIP that mahal talaga ang trabaho na nagsasakripisyo talaga. I saw people who are tamad, who are lazy, who are doing disservice to the IPs. But more than that, I saw more people who are doing great for the indigenous peoples. So I think, pag palaging ganito yung atmosphere natin, we cannot really serve the IPs the best way that we should serve them.
Okay.
Because they deserve so much. And maybe one way of trying to protect and promote the indigenous way is to be a part of Congress and speak. Not only, kasi alam mo naman, may IP congressman tayo, to be honest about it, but it's so hard for them to speak of, halimbawa yung northern congressman, to speak of the Manobos of the Mindanao, of the Sobanin of the Zamboanga, of the Tandulanin of the Palawan. But if you think you are that party list na meron silang buy-in na binuto ka ng taga Mindanao, binuto ka ng mga taga Palawan, ng Visayas, and ng Luzon, maybe you have the right to speak for them.
Right.
So sabi ko, sige, siguro kahit malit ang chance na manalo ako kasi second nominee ako. But if I help the party list win a seat in Congress, that's a start. That's a start of something better for the indigenous peoples. Ganon yung kwento niya.
Okay. And now you're the first nominee. Okay, what is the implication of being a first nominee sa Benguet and sa party list?
Pag first nominee ka kasi, di ba, succession yan .
Yes.
Pag nakuha mo yung required number of votes, you get 1 seat. If you get, dalawa or tatlo. But most of the time, ang pinaglalaban talaga dito is the first seat.
Yes.
So, first implication probably is that we have the chance to represent the IPs of the Philippines. And we have the chance to do that as a privilege and an honor of somebody who came from the farmland of Benguet.
Yes.
So, yun yung siguro sa akin, and Mountain Province. So, I think I possess the necessary experience and ground experience to say that maybe I know the concern of the IPs and maybe there's something that I can do about it. If by the grace of God, I'll be a part of Congress, then there's a voice na pwedeng asahan ng mga IPs na to speak for them. Hindi kasi, it's not just simply to speak for them.
Yeah.
To speak of their issues. That is true. You know why? One of the biggest problem of the IPs is that there's a lot of people speaking for the IPs. But it does not represent the IPs. No, it does not at all represent what they want. Kaya ang sabi nila ganito, ito ay isang ITA leader sabi niya. If you want to help us, wag niyo kaming dalhan ng 1 kilong bigas at 2 lata ng sardinas at magpa-picture tayo. If you want to help us, listen to us. Right? Because your concept of development might be different from our concept of development.
That's true.
Nang nagsabi ka ng dala ka ng kalsada at yun na ay para sa amin, not necessarily. Okay? So I think if you want to talk about the IPs and speak for the IPs, maybe at least listen. So that's something that I can bring kasi I've been listening to the IPs for almost maybe 14 years, 15 years.
True, because you cannot decide what people need, right? You really have to be there. And yun nga, kasi you experienced it, you lived it, so somehow you have a better understanding of the needs of IPs. What are the advantages ba ng Benguet or Cordillera when tayo syempre, when Ipanao gets a seat in Congress?
Ang sabi ko kanina is that the problem of the IPs sometimes is borderless. No, it does not belong in one province. So we can start with the land problem of Benguet. Okay. So, for example, in Bugyas, we are bounded by 2 proclamations, the Mount Data Proclamation and the Mount Pulag Proclamation. So much of our land in Bugyas are public lands.
Okay.
So we are squatting on public lands. That is the same in Atok, in Tublay, that's the same in Itogon. Much of their land is mineral patents or patentables ng minerals, pag-ari ng big corporations, big companies.
Yes.
Actually, yung siguro pinakamalaking squatter dito sa buong Benguet is sa Itogon. The same problem in Mangkayan.
Okay.
Even in Kibungan, covered ko ng mga forest reservation. So, the thing is, IP land naman to. We've been here before the establishment of this government. And we have what they call the IPRA law, and that we have the right to claim ancestral lands, that we can prove that to be in our possession since time immemorial. But why is it that hanggang ngayon, ang treatment ng national government is that we are still squatting?
Okay.
So the way to address that, and this applies to all proclamations of IP lands, not only is to declassify that proclamation. Tanggalin mo siya. Kasi what's the use of declaring an area as forest reservation kung wala ng forest? That in fact, for the longest time, for the last 100 years, i-cover na siya ng mga farms. Or cover na siya ng national road. At sa gilid ng national roads ay mga houses that these people built since 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Pero hanggang ngayon, bakit pa rin ang ibibigay mo sa kanila is tax declaration. Magbabayad sila ng tax pero hindi sa kanilang lupa. So that applies to all.
Yeah.
Even here in Baguio, your problem here is, for example, the 211 titles, the 211 titles. The 211 titles are public lands considered kahit title mo siya. Pero saan siya nanggaling? It came in a case in 1920.
Okay.
So until now, bakit pa rin tayo bound ng ganyan? Ibang-iba na yung situation. But this kind of problems has to be addressed in a national level. Either in a presidential or legislative. So that's something that I can contribute probably because I have an understanding of it.
Okay, so that's one of your priorities, right? It's actually one of your advocacies. Okay, so maybe give us 2 more. What are your, kasi isa yan eh, yung sa land and tell us more about
maybe
your
about
advocacies.
Ano ba yung mga advocacies natin na nilagay natin sa tarpaulin kasi baka hinahanap ng mga tao. Number 2 is we must protect the farmers.
Okay.
Why?
Yes,
alam naman natin na galing tayo sa farming and minsan kasi naiinggit ako pag halimbawa may calamity ang other areas like Visayas at nabagyo ang kanilang mga pananim like coconuts or rice, automatically they have a lot of subsidies coming from the government. Ang daming binibigay, ang daming but as a farmer on personal level of experience, pag nagkaroon tayo ng mga ganyang same level of suffering from God, mga acts of God, wala man ang binibigay. May binibigay, hindi ko alam kung saan napupunta. Or second is that may mga may mga problems like importation na sabi, anong pakialam ng isang ordinary farmer sa importation? It is a decision of the national government.
Right.
For example, ang French fries ng McDo or Jollibee is not coming from Benguet, no? They are matters of, they are imported na na mga patatas, no? Can we not provide? Or siguro mas mahal yung sa atin, but can we not buy it from us? No? So we have sustainability para hindi, most of the time, biglang baba, biglang taas, or magkakaroon ng mass importation kasi magkaroon ng mga smuggling, mga ganyan.
Right.
Oh. Ang gulay, pag nabulok na. Ang repolyo, pag halimbawa, it's time to harvest, it's not a matter that you can negotiate. Next month ka na lang, kasi mababang presyo ngayon kasi may importation, may smuggling. Puputok na yan eh. Pag pumutok na yan, second class na yan. Pag second class na yan, siguro half na yung price niya.
Yeah.
So, walang negotiability ang mga farmers. So, what happens that, wala. Kung yun yung nangyari sa kanila, naabutan nila ang 5 piso, 3 pesos, 4 pesos na bintahan. Aasan na lang sila ng grace of God the next uutang na naman sila.
Yes.
So, but you are the government. You are supposed to protect the small farmers. And vegetable farming is a small farming industry.
Okay.
So, nasaan ang national government in that particular level? Okay. In Japan, for example, they are very much protected. They are declared as national industries. They are very much regulated. At meron silang halimbawa pag nangyari to, may automatic na subsidy. That's why the farmers there are so respected, no?
Yes.
Kasi alam naman nila na without farmers hindi naman kakain ng abogado eh. Pag hindi nagtanim ang farmers, walang kakainin yung doktor. So that level of respect is found in other parts of the world. I want that to happen in our industry.
Yun. And yun nga, sabi mo nga, that's something you grew up with. Kaya talagang naiintindihan mo yung struggle ng farmers. Imagine, anong grade ka pa lang nag-garden?
Hindi ako nag-kinder but kindergarten age.
Yun. See, kindergarten age. So you've lived it. It's all your life.
Yes.
So if there is one person who can understand their issues, it's going to be you. Right? Kung hindi mo ikaw, yung kapitbahay mo, mga tito, mga tita natin, lahat, it's all farmers. Okay? And speaking of farmers, by the way, catch Marlon tomorrow sa Bob TC. He will be there at 6:30. If you want to meet him in person, nandyan lang po siya bukas. Hello to our Bob TC family, by the way. Okay. And could you, maybe one more?
Culture. No?
Okay. Preservation of culture.
Yes, preservation of culture.
How do we do that?
In a way na, kasi sometimes yung nakikita ko is that nawawala na siya eh. Nawawala na siya in a way na, halimbawa tayo lumalaki tayo, nakikita natin yung kanyaw kasi naging part siya ng ating community.
Yes.
Alam natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng kanyaw. We live it. Yung mga mambunong, we know it. Nakikita natin yung pero kasi we don't practice it as much as often as now.
Okay.
Hindi siya nakikita ng mga bata. It's not their fault, no? But there are ways, for example, yung sa IP education na ginagawa natin ngayon, I think we need to enhance it more.
Alright.
Yung pagtuturo ng mga IP ways, no? Na hindi lang sa mga IP but mga non-IP for us para matanggal yung level of discrimination na yan. Pakita natin sa mga bata na this is the meaning of your culture. Ito yung ginagawa noon. These are the meaning of the dances. These are the meaning of the chants. It's not as simple as ikot-ikot ka lang doon na sasayaw ka ng sisiwit, no? It has a deeper meaning than that, no? It's the celebration of a community. And I think because it's a different times now, hindi nila na-appreciate yun. They don't get to appreciate that. But actually, we can return it back to them by teaching it formally.
Okay.
We integrate it sa ating mga schools and we learn to celebrate it more, mga tipong mga ganyan.
Alright. And I remember, sabi mo, one of your inspirations is really yung experiences mo about the abuse that was experienced by some indigenous groups. What's your advocacy on that?
Yun yung isa is there is lack of legal representation. So when I was the regional bureau director ng legal affairs, I think that's what I want. Yung parang makapag-file sila. Kasi kahit merong abogado, it's very expensive na pagpunta ka sa bundok, kausapin mo sila. It's resource intensive. So probably another advocacy is to pass a law allowing for specific indigenous concerns at mas mabigyan sila ng representation. You strengthen yung sa NCIP, bigyan sila ng mas maraming abogado para may matakbuhan ang mga IPs natin. Ganun siguro.
Alright. Okay, so marami naman tayong magagawa sa Congress and I think ang pinakabala mo talaga, it's really your experience. It's really your experience. Like you've really been through all of it, and kung hindi mo man experience, you saw it firsthand. So that really worked to your advantage. Wow, napakadami. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about Ipanaw sa Bayanan, aside from those things that you just discussed?
I think yung pinanggalingan talaga niya is a simple dream na magkaroon ng IP representation. No? Nothing more, nothing less. Wala tayong backer na contractor, wala tayong mga nominee na contractor. Lahat ng mga nominees natin is mga tribal leaders, mga ganyan. Or mga advocates na may napatunayang level of advocacy. So, yun lang. Parang we want to put we want to make it a reality yung spirit of the Constitution providing for a party list representation for the indigenous peoples. No? It's not something, it has been so abused ang party list system. No? Ang dami yung tumatakbong mga political dynasty, mga ganyan, para may lagay yung asawa nila, mga ganyan, or anak nila, kapatid nila. They want to go there because they want, mga contractors sila, kumuha ng projects. But once in a while, I think that there are party lists such as ours who wants to live in reality, the spirit of the party system. Yun lang siguro.
Na tipong totoo naman talaga.
Totoo naman
Alright.
siguro.
Let's take one question. Ano yung issue mo about persona non grata sa
Sa Kabugao.
Kabugao.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that. And well, I know it's been resolved, right?
Yes.
But for those who are watching and for those who are curious, what was it really about?
There was a project proposal na magtatayo ng malaking dam sa Pudtol.
Pudtol, okay.
Pudtol, Apayao, and but it will affect yung municipality ng Kabugao. So there has been a negotiation. I think the project proposal started in 2011, mga ganyan. There has been a lot of negotiation. So pumasok ako as regional director, medyo nasa tail end na siya ng negotiation.
Okay.
So may anti, may pro, no? In all projects sa IP communities, there's always that
That's
kasi
true, yeah.
So ang nangyari doon is that nagkaroon ng consent mechanism, nanalo ang yes.
Okay.
So yung no, hindi sila nanalo, of course. And then ako naman as a regional director, my job was to see to it that the process was filed before I will endorse it sa commission sa national.
Right. Okay.
So it's wala akong approving authority, no? So there's a team specifically under the law required yung prior informed consent team na magtatrabaho para doon.
Okay.
Ang trabaho lang nila is to record kung anong sinabi ng community. So just because it's a big project, no? It's a dam project.
Yeah.
So you'll expect resistance talaga. And lumabas sa decision-making process nila na nag-yes sila. Actually designed in presence of mga government officials nila. It was endorsed by the local government, it was endorsed by the municipal government, provincial government, mga ganyan. Congressional level siya na ano. So, but you cannot discount the people who are fighting na no.
Okay.
Kasi it's their land eh. They have the right to fight for no.
That's
So, nung nag-no sila at when it was approved by the commission, I think they declared me and several members of the FPIC team, mga lawyers na ganyan, as persona non grata.
Okay. Who's they?
The people who are yung mga nag-no sa project.
Okay.
But for the longest time, hindi ko siya in-address in public, mga ganyan. Kasi during the defense of the project, kasi ang nag-defense sa project hindi ako eh.
Okay.
Yung mga IP mismo. Kasi yan yung process ng CIP. Pinatawag yung mga IP leaders, mga ganyan. And during the time na pinatawag sila para i-defend yan, there are, out of the 21 barangays, 19 barangay captains ang nandun. And then 19 barangay IPMRs, some members of the council, and then tribal leaders. Andun sila to defend. More than 50 ang nandun to defend the project.
Alright.
So, yun, it was granted. And then, we were declared persona non grata. Pero, of a minority, pero, in fairness, dun sa mga IP leaders ng Kabugao, they executed another resolution.
Okay.
Sabi na, we are, invalidating that because it does not represent us, mga ganyan-ganyan. Pero kasi once you started saying things against defending the pro or defending the anti, you put the two IP groups together in a clash again.
Yes.
So, I respect yung decisions ng mga pro, I respect the decisions of the anti. It's not my decision to make.
Alright.
But based on the process that I saw, ito yung lumabas eh. I don't have the right to dictate kung anong gusto ng mga tao ng Kabugao.
Right.
So, nagkasuhan, kinasuhan kami sa ombudsman. It was dismissed.
Okay.
Kinasuhan yung mga tribal leaders na galing din sa Kabugao doon sa ng criminal case. It was dismissed. kinasuhan yung mga taga-NCIP. Most of them were dismissed yung mga kaso. Kasi hindi lang ako yung kinasuhan eh. Pati yung mga tribal leaders nila, mga ganyan, kinasuhan. So it's really it's
Big.
may ano siya, may galit na siguro kasi pati siya nag-aaway. You don't put fuel to the fire by trying to say, hey, you are wrong, mga ganyan-ganyan. I think it's not my responsibility na i-defend ang isang side. It was my job. I have to accept that in doing your job, there will be consequences.
Yes.
Okay? Especially that the project is controversial. So, siguro ganun yung perspective yan. So, I never spoke about it in public.
Yes.
Never kong sinabi na yung mga antay na ganito yung ginawa nila, that's wrong, that's... until now, probably I respect
Okay.
their stand. And actually, probably, in a lot of ways, in hindsight, no, I commend them for fighting what they believe in. Kasi,
So a good thing.
kabuhayan mo yan eh, mga bahay nyo yan eh.
Yes.
So, yun yung ano ko. It's an issue that was, I think it's an expected issue on my part.
So it has been resolved, right?
It was resolved by the IP leaders.
Yes.
Nasabi nila na hindi totoo yan. We are, parang tinatanggal nila, no? Invalidating it.
Invalidating.
Yes.
Okay.
Pero I never, ito, in-invalidate na nila.
Yeah.
No? Let their process be, yung sa kabila, and let their process be sa kabila, ganyan. So, kung may pagkakamali man sa ginawa ko, you are free to file cases against me, and they did file cases against me.
Yeah.
Then I have to defend myself, no? I am a public servant. My salary is being paid by the people's taxes, no?
That's true.
So, whatever be my decision, I have to stand by it. No? I will not go in attacking people kasi medyo mahirap yan.
Yeah. So just to be very clear, it was invalidated, right? It was invalidated, but you didn't go public with it.
May ano naman, it was published in several publications, but it was not on my own accord. Okay.
Okay, right. Okay, so okay na yon. So technically, and actually the last time nanalo pa si Ipanao
Yes.
sa Kabugao.
Number one ng Ipanao.
Yes, number 1 ang Ipanao sa Kabugao. So which means na na-invalidate nga talaga, or those who tried to declare you persona non grata, they didn't really have the legal standing.
Probably ganun kasi hindi naman na pinag-usapan sa buong Kabugao eh.
Yes.
And the leaders that are supposed to make the declarations were not there. Pero sa akin is that when you're fighting something as big as the establishment of a hydropower dam, I think that they have to go at lengths to protect their to protect what they believe in.
Yes,
So
that's true.
that's something that we should respect.
Yes. People protect their own. I mean, sabi mo nga, it's their home, kabuhayan nila, so they will really fight for it.
Kasi sa akin, in one time, naging part din ako dyan when they try to introduce mining sa amin eh. Doon sa may Bacon area, sinipsip sa baba niya. And I was, during that time, I was so against it. No?
Yeah.
So, I feel kung saan sila nanggaling. So, they have the right in all the world to be angry at me. Okay? And to file cases, to forward their cause. Ganyan. I respect that.
That is amazing. Okay, so we're almost at the top of the hour. So siguro just a few more questions to wrap it up. How would you describe yourself as a leader?
I think that you cannot lead anything if you're incapable of putting your feet on the ground. So I think you must lead from the front lines. That has been always my way when I was a regional director, mga ganyan. Puntahan mo on the ground. Tignan mo yourself. Make the assessment yourself. Hindi mo pwedeng iasa sa papel, iasa sa bulong-bulong, kung sino may kakayahan na pumunta sa office mo. Kasi sometimes, in an IP community, yung nakakapunta lang sa office mo para magsumbong, magsabi ng issues are those probably they have the means or they were provided the means. And the story is always biased. So if you want to learn the truth and to come up with better decisions, stand at the center of the community. Okay? And listen yourself. So,
gusto ko yan. Listen. We need a leader who listens and who serves and not just leads. Okay, if I'm going to ask your friends, who are your friends? But okay, if I'm going to ask your friends to describe you in 3 words, what do you think are the words that they would use to describe you?
Siguro serious. I don't know. I really don't. It's so hard to come up with words. No? But I hope that my friends will come up with if I have my friends.
Sabi ko, sino ba friends mo? Marami siyang friends.
Hopefully kind words, but
okay.
But if you expect kind words from your friends, they are not your friends. So.
Okay. serious I would agree with. Yun, sabi ko nga, kaya nung college kami, we were not exactly the closest friends. Kasi masyadong matalino yan. Sabi ko, hindi ko magiging kaibigan yan. Masyadong matalino yan. Taga-debate society yung mga yan. Serious, yes, I'd go with that. Two more. Kind, syempre. I think that's expected.
Kind kasi
One
is
more.
culturally, it's something that and maybe I want to brag about it.
Uh-huh.
Can you brag about humility?
Ah,
Kasi that's something cultural eh.
I think so, yes.
And kasi pag lumalagay ka sa Igorot community, it's you have to be hardworking and humble.
That's true.
So I don't know if I am that, but I hope that I am that.
Okay. Biggest lesson you learned in life that you want to teach your son. He has an amazing, very, very cute son. Na kamukha ng mami niya. Kamukha ng mami niya. Alright. What's the biggest lesson you learned in life that you want to teach your son?
Probably the love for books, no? Because there's a world out there that there's a lot of life experiences that you cannot experience, but you can learn from books.
Yeah.
It helps you grow emotionally. It can expand your imagination. It brings you to places of dragons and fantasies that probably sabi mo it's out of this world, but it makes you, I think, a better person.
Yes.
It makes your imagination lively. It makes you connect to people more, and it makes you appreciate the little things in life. And it makes you kinder as a person.
What's your favorite book?
Ito ay dalawa siya. But it's more of Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry yata.
Okay.
It's an Pulitzer
Haven't
Award-winning book
Okay.
that's about the cowboy in the West. Alam mo naman tayo, di ba? Igor, lumaki tayo sa ganyang culture. It's one of the books that I found. Hindi ko siya hinahanap. Nakita ko lang, maganda yung cover niya, binasa ko, and I think it was, until now, for me, I think maybe after thousands of books, siya pa rin yung
All right. Favorite book. Okay. My last question probably would be, what makes you proud that you are Akin Kanaoy?
I think there's nothing that makes you proud na as a Kankanay. By itself, by you being a Kankanay, it makes you proud. It doesn't make, you are not boastful, no?
Yes.
Hindi ka prideful. It just so happened that you stand with a certain degree of pride, a little bit straighter. Pag sinasabi na IP ka, na Kankanay ka, because you are proud of your people.
Yes.
You are proud of what they are in life. You are proud of their ways, their traditions, and their values. No? You are proud of what they achieve as a people. In their dreams as a community. Kasi sa atin parang ang ultimate na lagi sinasabi sa no siya pansagdan di sumigunda. No siya pansayatan di ili. Meaning it's all about community based. What is best for the next generation? What's best for a community? So that's something that you can be proud of. Na lumalaki ka, hindi mo alam na gano'n ang ibig niyang sabihin, but you realize it when you go to other places.
Okay. That is very deep and meaningful. And that's one of the reasons why when I need to clear my head and get things straight, my ideas straight, this is one of the people that I talk to. Because he's one of the most sane and reasonable persons that I know. And as a friend, he's very straightforward. He's not going to lie to you. He's just going to tell you straight to your face. That's one of the best things that I love about you. You're very authentic as a friend, as a brother. Okay, we have been talking for 2 hours and
Really?
lagi naman tayong nagka-catch
Di ba
up.
sabi natin less than 1 hour?
Oo nga eh. And lagi naman tayong nagka-catch up. So this time, I will give you the chance to talk to the whole Benguet, voters and non-voters. What do you want to tell them?
I really don't know what to say. No, ang hirap kasi na to beg for votes kasi that's not our way. I just hope that whatever I did in the past jobs that I had, just know that I did it with the humility and hard work that our people are known for. I did it with the best intention. Kung whatever be the shortcoming that I had, probably that is my fault on my own alone. But I hope that I did you proud. Yun lang.
Are you going to ask for anything, especially sa May 12?
They know what they have to do. No? they know if that I am deserving, they know what to do.
Okay.
If I am undeserving, they know what to do also.
That's true. All right. So that's it, Benguet. Any final words, final message? You know the drill. Ganyan.
Yeah. Thank you. No, I am where I am today because of the community that raised me, of the people that sacrificed for me. I hope that in the next journey that I had, I could give something more to the community, that I could be a better inspiration since Sumigunda, since Sumarsaruno. That I hope that whatever I did right now will open more opportunities for them. Maybe right now it is it's a dream kasi hindi pa siya nangyayari. But once it becomes a dream realized, it will be the reality of the next generation.
Okay. And because you mentioned it, what does Ipanao mean?
It means journey. Yes.
Ipanao means journey.
So I hope that you walk with me, that you journey and make this dream a reality. Maybe not only for me, but for the whole indigenous nation.
All right. Once again, Attorney Marlon Busantog, the first nominee of Ipanao Sambayanan. That is very, very clear. We hope that you join him and us in this journey. Benguet, Cordillera at buong Pilipinas, samahan niyo po kami dahil si Attorney Marlon po natin ay hindi bibitaw sa ating mga eyepiece. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, for watching, for listening wherever you are. And I hope that you all remain safe and dry. So good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves and each other. See you again next time.